Hello, I'm David. I work for Glasgow City Council as one of the psychologists in the psychological services. I'm also a Europe accredited EMDR trauma consultant. We've been asked to think about additional ways to support our key frontline staff and volunteers who are providing invaluable services across our city. Clearly, working in emotionally demanding settings, we all have developed ways of coping over the years. The current situation is, however, beyond all our experiences, and we're all finding our usual ways of coping maybe needing some additions. This is not a sign of weakness or inability, but a recognition that you may need to find other strategies and support systems beyond which is currently available. It may be likely that you're experiencing unexpected difficulties in 3 areas. You might be experiencing intrusive thoughts and feelings, distressing sensations in your body, and stuff that just pops into your head and your body when you're least expecting it. You also might be finding yourself easily aroused, like just getting suddenly angry, tearful, or suddenly overwhelmingly frightened, or sometimes feeling overly confused, or suddenly unexpectedly. Maybe this is whether at home or at work. It's almost like our bodies are like an alarm system that sets so sensitively that it's like just going off for the slightest thing. As a consequence of these things, you also might be wanting to avoid situations, avoid people, and even avoiding about the future. You may find yourself trying to cope with a brave front or being dismissive, using very dark humor, expecting yourself just to toughen up and bear it. You may see an increased sense of strange behaviors in yourself, maybe excessive cleaning or increased drinking or eating, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. These are normal responses to overwhelming situations. And I'm going to say that again, these are generally normal responses to overwhelming situations. They're beyond our control, and this is impacting on all of us with no real sense of choice and control. I'd like to teach you an additional strategy that may be able to help you address some of these difficulties on a day-to-day basis. The strategy was developed by Lucina Artigas during her work with the survivors of Hurricane Pauline in Mexico in 1998, along with the work of Dr. Ignacio Jarero. Over the last 23 years, this strategy has been the standard practice for clinicians in the field when working with survivors of man-made and natural catastrophes, or with populations living recent, present, or past prolonged adverse experiences, like ongoing trauma that we are all experiencing across the world with COVID-19. And this strategy is one of the strategies that actually help us manage some of those difficulties. So this strategy can help you process some of the distress that you might be feeling. People find it useful because it's simple. It's something that can be taught and practiced. It's something you can do in the face of things that you have no control over. You can monitor effectiveness for yourself, and it's something that can be shared with colleagues and family. It is not something that someone does to you. So this technique can help process traumatic experiences. Step 1 is imagine the event that's causing you the distress. Play this like a video in your head. It might be from the past, the present, or an imagined future. Play that video in your head. Step 2, observe and notice where you're feeling these disturbing feelings in your bodies and memories. And then give yourself a level of disturbance. Give you that a score from 0 to the maximum disturbance and distress is 10. Step 3, take that disturbance and cross your arms, linking your thumbs, and start alternately tapping on your chest. Left, right, left, right. Now start walking or marching your feet in a steady pace while also tapping left, right, left, right. Now at the same time you're doing that, think about that video in your head. Play the video through. Just notice what you feel, what you think, and where you notice that in your body. Carry on with the walking, carry on with the tapping. At the end of that video, take 2 deep breaths. And really blow that out. Step 4, observe and notice in your body and give yourself that score of disturbance again of 0 to 10. If the score is from 4 to 10, then repeat step 3 again until that disturbance is 0, 1, 2, or 3. If after doing this process at least 3 times your score of disturbance remains above 4, don't speak to somebody else for gaining access to trauma services like the NHS. So it may be helpful if you try this out for yourself. Remember that with any skill, it gets better with practice. The risk for all of us is that we think this is just too stupid or simple, it's not going to work, so we'll just bin it. It would be great if you could support each other in small groups to do this together. Before a shift starts, at a break, or at the end of a shift. You can even do this before coming into your allocated shift as a way of preparing yourself for what you may have to face. You get to monitor its effectiveness for yourself and each other. I've specifically not given it a name because hopefully you'll come up with a name that you can share and it makes some sort of sense to you. It may also be useful to think of this as a cyclical, normal cyclical process, like the seasons cycle. Things change, like autumn, and then we may struggle with things to cope when things are bad, like in a winter. We find new ways of coping, like in spring, and then we carry on with new growth into summer. The reality, though, is like Glasgow weather, it all can change within 5 minutes. Just as you think you're doing okay and you're coping, you're doing fine, then suddenly you can feel totally distressed and depressed again. That's okay, it's a normal, natural cycle, and this is where this strategy can maybe help alleviate some of that distress associated with that. Thank you for your often very hidden and vital work. We're very grateful for how you're supporting Glasgow's people. Thank you.